Hey everyone, it's Jordan, and today I'll be talking about my books that I've read recently. So I read a decent amount of books recently. I've read some good books and some that I'm like, about, so yeah, I can't wait to talk about all of them. So yeah, let's get to the books that I've read recently. So the first book that I've read recently is Love on the Brain by Ellie Hazelwood. This is the companion, a sequel to The Love Hypothesis. This is a companion novel to it, and even I read the first book. The first book's about a woman who's been getting teased by her friend for not dating anybody, so she just grabbed a random guy, and kissed him and make them her fake boyfriend, which I really loved, the Love Hypothesis. And Love on the Brain is followed by, gosh, what were their names? Levi and Marie, I think, but yeah, and I enjoyed this one, but not as much as the Love Hypothesis, which kind of disappointed me a bit, but it was still a 4-star read for me. I do hope that the third book in this series will be much better, and I know that's coming out soon, so yeah, I do hope to enjoy that. And I know she also released a book with 3 novellas in it, so I do hope to read that as well. So yeah, like I said, this book was a 4-star read for me. And the next book that I've read recently is All the Tides of Fate by Adeline Grace. This is a sequel to All the Stars and Teeth, and you haven't read the first book. The first book's about a girl who is a princess who has powers of controlling souls, if I'm trying to remember it correctly, and then she tries to prove that she'll be a good ruler, so she teams up with a pirate and discover her powers, basically. And I really enjoy this one. I'm trying to remember what I rated, because I'm trying to remember if it was a 4-star or 4.5 stars. I'm trying to remember on top of my head, but yeah, I really enjoy this one as much as the first one. I've read this on audiobook, which was a lot of fun, and yeah, I give this 4 stars. Hi, future editing me here. When I was doing the recent reads video, I didn't realize that for All the Tides of Fate, I actually rated 5 stars, not 4 stars, so I apologize for giving the wrong rating. I was trying to remember on top of my head what books I rated for what, so yeah, it was a 5-star rate for me, and which I forgot it was a 5-star rate for me, so I apologize. So yeah, back to the video. And the next book that I read recently is Fables by Bill Willingham, Lamadina, Steve Lalo, and Craig Hamilton. This is the first book in a graphic novel series. This is basically a graphic novel series about fairy tale characters living in a modern world, and I actually bought this, and I just read within the same day that I bought it, just because Kevin and I were at Half Price Books, and I needed something because he was waiting for his offer, and I decided to read this because it was a graphic novel, and I was like, why not? So yeah, I really enjoy this one. It's a 5-star read. I really can't wait to continue on with the series because I really enjoyed it, even though it was dark and very adult, which I didn't expect, but yeah, I really enjoy this, so yeah, it was a 5-star read for me. So the next book that I read recently is Dark and Deepest Red by Anna Marie McLemore. This is a book that is a retelling of Red Shoes. That's all I remember from reading it. I've read this as part of one of my videos of giving authors a second chance, and yeah, I enjoy this more than Wild Beauty, except it was still a 3-star read for me. I just really had trouble getting to this book because I had trouble connecting with the characters. I honestly found the characters very bland in my opinion. So yeah, it was the same rating as her previous book, and I was disappointed that after giving this author a second chance, it was still a 3-star read for me. If I give her a third chance, maybe, I don't know. I'm just in debate about that, but yeah, it was this book was 3 stars for me. And the next book that I read recently is Our Crooked Hearts by Melissa Albert, who is the author of the Hazelwood duology. I think it's a duology, I don't know, but yeah, this was another book that I've read for giving authors a second chance video that I did, and this one, I honestly was also disappointed with this one, just because, like, this is about a girl who runs into this witch and all that, and then apparently it the witch has a connection with her mother, and that's kind of the interesting part. Like, you get dual perspectives between the main character and her mother. Like, when her mother was a teenager, and that part I found interesting. But this wasn't also a disappointing read for me, just because I was hoping to like this more than the Hazelwood duology. But yeah, it was very disappointing to me. So yeah, I also gave this book 3 stars. And the next book that I read recently is Unravel the Dusk by Elizabeth Lim. This is the sequel to Spin the Dawn. If you haven't read Spin the Dawn, it's a Mulan retelling where she takes her brother's place to be in a contest to be the Emperor's best tailor, and that's from what I remember from the first book, and this is a sequel to that. I really enjoy this one. I honestly didn't enjoy it as much as the first one. I know the first book was 5 stars for me, and this was a 4-star read for me. I still enjoyed it. I still love the characters and all that, but I don't know why. It's just, I don't know why I didn't enjoy it as much as the first book, but yeah, I still really enjoyed it, and it's a duology, so it was a really good duology in my opinion. So yeah, this was a 4-star read for me. And the next book that I read recently is Lost in the Neverwoods by Aidan Thomas. This is a Peter Pan retelling where Wendy and her brothers went missing, but then she comes back to her town with no memory of what happened to her or her brothers, and her brothers are still missing, and then she meets Peter, who would help her find her brothers. That's all I remember from reading it. I know I've read this on audiobook, which I found it really interesting, and I did enjoy it. I found it like a really interesting Peter Pan retelling that I read. It was a little dark from what I've read. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be dark, but yeah, it was really interesting read, but I didn't enjoy it as much as Cemetery Boys, which is by the same author, but I am excited to read more of their books, so yeah, I still enjoy this. Overall, it was a 4-star read for me. And the next book that I read recently is Murder in Irish Village by Caroline O'Connor. This is about a woman whose family owns a bistro, and then she and her family were about to open their bistro until they found out that there was a dead body in their bistro, and they were the main suspects of the murder. So that's the synopsis of this. I really enjoyed it. I found it really interesting, and since I've never been to Ireland, it kind of makes me feel like I was there as I was reading it. I really enjoy this. I do want to continue on with the series because I really enjoyed it so much, and it's a really interesting, cozy read from a cozy mystery book. So yeah, this was a 4-star read. Yeah, it was a 4-star read for me, and I can't wait to continue on with the series. So the next book that I've read recently, well, was Black Widow Forever Red by Margaret Stohl. I read like 100 pages of this, and then I DNF'd it, so this was a DNF for me. I was kind of disappointed with this book just because I honestly thought Black Widow would be the main character, but that wasn't the case as I was reading it. I was like, where the heck is Black Widow? So yeah, unless she was in a disguise as someone else, that's probably the part that I missed, but I DNF'd this one. So I love Marvel and everything, but this book just disappointed me, and I just didn't like how it was written. I felt lost as I was reading this, so yeah, it was a DNF for me. And the last book that I've read recently is Lock and Key Volume 2 by Joe Hill. This is a sequel to the Lock and Key graphic novel series, and if you haven't read the first book, the first volume is about the Flock family who recently lost, the Lock kids have lost their father, so they and their mother move into his childhood home and try to live a new life without their dad. And I really liked the whole series. I know I've read or watched the TV show before I read this graphic novel series, but I really appreciate that I know the differences between the graphic novel and the TV show. So yeah, I still enjoyed it. So yeah, this was a 4-star read for me, and I just can't wait to continue on with that series as well. So that's all for my recent reads video. If you're enjoying this video, give me a thumbs up and comment down below what books that you've read recently. If you haven't already, click the subscribe button and click the bell icon so we know if I ever post new videos. Also, you can follow me on social media like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Goodreads, which all links will be down below for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye!